In this episode, we have the pleasure of working with a model that has natural level 7-8 hair. Because our model wants to maintain a bright blonde look at home, she regularly uses a violet shampoo. Because of this, much of her mid-lengths have a violet hue. Prior to coloring, the first thing we're going to do is grab our Malibu C Quick Fix and apply it onto the hair. This will help remove the violet discoloration. I'll first use a detoxifying shampoo to cleanse the hair thoroughly. Next, I will apply the Malibu C directly onto the hair in the areas that we need to remove the violet. After following Malibu C's manufacturer directions, you can now see we have a bright blonde canvas without any violet tinge. Now, prepping for color, we're going to start by taking apart from the high point of the head to behind the ear on each side. Next, we're going to section off a large veil section on the top of the hair and clip it off. Take another section below the veil and above the nape. In the nape section, part off a triangle in the center. In the front on the model's right side, take a part from high recession to the natural part and section it off. For consistency, do the same on the opposite side. Here you can see the sectioning for this look. Starting in the nape, take the middle triangle section and clip it out of the way. Starting on the right side, elevate the hair up high and paint underneath. This will create brightness at the hairline and when her hair is pulled back into a ponytail. Work the product in through the ends for added brightness on the tips. Repeat the same technique on the opposite side, holding the hair up and away. Now, pulling down the middle triangle, paint a V on the section, surface painting. It's important not to push the product through in the thicker areas. Build a thick layer of product on for maximum blonding. Cover with saran wrap to keep the moisture locked inside and promote optimal lifting. For the next section, take a soft U and split it into two halves. Paint a half V on the section with the high point towards the face. Mirror the same pattern on the opposite side. Focus on building up the product for maximum blonding and keeping a clean section. Here you can see the brightness on the mid-lengths and ends and leaving depth at the root for more dimension. Take a horizontal parting above, creating a U section. Paint a V. Moving up toward the veil section, take a steep V parting and split it into two, painting each side with the high point toward the face. It's important to think of each of these halves coming together as a whole, so visualize what each half V is going to look like as it comes together. It's going to form a V section. When open air painting like this, I often like my product to be like a Greek yogurt consistency. This gives me control and smoothness. You'll also notice that in order to get sharp V points, I use an up brushing technique to create a wispy effect. When grabbing the section from underneath before sliding down, make sure that your gloved hand is clean. Moving into the veil section, take a horizontal parting across to reduce the size of the thickness of the section. Paint another V, keeping thickness and depth at the base. You'll notice here how I kept the top of the veil section out. This will allow me to connect the front and the back together evenly. On the model's front right side, I first sectioned off the small baby hairs at the hairline and grabbed the diagonal back section and painted on with the high point towards the face. Now, grabbing the front hairline section that I left out, I pull it out, elevating it backwards and painting on smoothly and evenly toward the face to create a nice seamless look at the hairline. Cover the section with saran wrap and then cut another parting above, slight diagonal back, and paint on a half V with the high point towards the face. Repeat the same pattern on the opposite side, leaving out the hairline and first focusing on a slight diagonal back section above the ear. Next, just like we did on the opposite side, pull the front hairline back taut and paint on the product. You'll notice how I switched brushes for this to have more control with my painting around the hairline. For the larger sections, I often use a thicker brush, yet with soft bristles. This helps me move quicker, paint thicker, and manage my time in the salon better. Continue moving up through the section in the same manner. Moving up past the high recession now, I'm addressing the hairline with my detail brush, pulling the hair back taut, elevating it up, and painting on carefully. Continue up, moving through the top, taking sections that are about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick, and continuing in diagonal back partings, painting on as you go. Because I'm aiming for maximum brightness around the face, I'm using the half V pattern, painting with the high point towards the hairline. It's important to maintain tension and elevation as you paint on the product around the hairline. As well, keep a clean brush and don't apply too much product onto the base. Once you reach the natural part, go back to the other side and continue. For clean sectioning, make sure to apply saran wrap in between each section. You can see here why it's important to paint the sections directly behind the front hairline section first. That way, when you paint the hairline section, you can drape it over the back. Finally, we'll move to the last sliver of the top of the veil section to make sure that we connect the front and the back smoothly. Now we let our model process. After shampooing and toning, you can see our model's hair now has a more consistent and smooth look from roots to ends. The newly added brightness also adds more depth in the negative space. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below.